Chicha Summit was presented to us by Alex, who put together a tour. So being able to do a collaboration of sorts with Money Chicha is really an honor.
We did a similar thing a couple of years ago. Essentially like-minded bands that are playing Amazonian cumbia, if you will.
And we had been talking about working together for a while. You know, they recorded parts of their album here in Beto's studio, and he helped them with that. And our horns played on their album and stuff. So it just made sense for us to get back together. And I was like, let's revive the Chicha Summit. Ever since we did it, people were always asking, you know, when are you going to do that again? Can you do that again? They really enjoyed the event. So it was just like a convenient opportunity to bring two bands together and to have a way to convey what we do to people, you know.
Money Chicha. Give a big hand to Los Santos. Came all the way from Chicago, melted some faces. It's a hard act to follow, and it's an honor to be doing these shows with them. We're doing this little Chicha Summit thing here in town. We're going to be in Santa.
Being able to share this music experience with them is great. It's just like unbelievable, you know. Great people, great guys. What he does with Grupo Fantasma and the Brownout, and now with Money Chicha, he relates to what we do too. Then it's a good blend.
The joke was, we need to have a Chicha band, a side band, make some money. We won't have horns and singers, and that way it'll just be us, you know? And that was at the outset, it was just simply that. Like it often happens, you know, when you're playing with your friends and just music gets legs, you know, and we started digging on Turkish recordings and all these Chicha recordings and just like started to find our own take on it, I guess.
Just turns out that we had a day off between shows, which was today, this Friday, and we decided to take advantage of that by coming out to the studio and recording some tracks and having a little hang.
And so we had a day, kind of a gap day. We decided to come here and collaborate together a little bit. So here at Leche House, and each one of us is doing a song, recording a song, and on each song, musicians from each band is sort of collaborating. And so the idea is to, put this out as a 45 split, right? So Money Chicha, Los Santos, but we were both sort of, playing on each other's songs.
The idea behind it, when I spoke with Alex and I spoke with Greg and Brian Ramos actually initially, was to sort of capture the spontaneity of all of us just hanging out, a bunch of musicians, a bunch of artists just hanging out, making music, talking, having a good time, no pressure, we wanted food and just the whole atmosphere that comes with that, and so far it's gone really well.
I mean, it's a cool hang, you know what I'm saying? That's the best part. There's always shows, and there's big shows, there's little shows, there's shows of different types, but there's not always a hang, and that's the coolest part. It's just the fellowship. You're hanging out and you're talking and you're getting to know people you don't really know, outside of the work. Even though we're putting in a little bit of work in the studio, it's still outside of the work environment. It's more of just like relaxing together, It's a good time.
Same thing happened to me. I played a gig where I was learning Matt Chamberlain.
So the track that Los Santos is recording is called Undercover. To an extent, it's it's kind of a tune that's about kind of the context of Chicago right now, actually. This kind of fraught relationship between sort of communities of color and police, right? So that we see that all over the country. What's been happening, and I think what immediately comes to mind is like Black Lives Matter and how that gets sort of animated by all these things that are happening, these very tragic things. What we bring, which is inclusiveness, social activism, social justice, those kind of themes resonate in us, and so music is the way that we let it out. And so it's inclusive, whether you're black, white, Latino, gay, I don't care.
if you're enjoying what I'm putting out, then that's a vibe that we're on together.
I think our music opens up minds of people that still think that all Latinos, look alike, sound alike. I think we're like the image and the sound of a new generation of Latino Americanos living in the United States.
Like there's all these different influences in the band, and I think that's the best part of what's being expressed from song to song, or even like within some of the songs we kind of shift from one style to another, and that makes it a lot more fun. This is sort of my favorite pedal, the polychorus. It's an analog pedal, and I end up using a lot of like the feedback and sort of the delay to add kind of like dubby kind of sounds, and that's some of my favorite shit to do.
I grew up with those sounds, like a lot of organ and timbales and things like that, but I never submerged into the style until I moved to the city of Chicago. And then I started exploring. I met Alex and introduced me to cumbia, traditional stuff, like a little bit more heavier. I guess it's also like from the region, from Texas and stuff like that, like Rigo Tobar, and also it transcends to the culture and what I do with the music, what I'm trying to express myself and to project to people that goes together with who I am as a immigrant here in the United States,
We want to get Los Santos working with us and us working with them, so you need to leave a little room for them to add their magic and to put their own personality on things. Everybody will take a turn throwing something up and see what sticks, and that's where the magic happens.
The recording process has been good. We've been going essentially live to 8-track, quarter-inch tape. So just a couple of takes each band, handful of takes for Money Chicha, but a couple of takes Dos Santos. The song we did with Money Chicha, we had never actually played it. So there's a lot of spontaneity.
So I wrote the song, I guess, a year ago or something, and it started off as like an accordion song. I have all these instruments that I don't play with anybody, so I was like, I'm gonna challenge myself to record a song using these instruments. I have a guitarron, an accordion, a ukulele, so I recorded this little demo using those instruments and playing percussion myself.
It's funny because I recorded it a couple different ways. I recorded one of them with a little more melodic line in the congas, and then I recorded another one with kind of a drone on the drum. And it's funny because the one with the drone ended up coming out sounding the best. I also left with a couple different options to choose from.
I feel like this is the most distilled version of what myself and Sweet Lou do and Matthew Holmes, just because the more parts you add on top of, you, when you're as a rhythm player, the kind of harder it is to keep everything conceptually where you want it to be. I just feel like the groove is really, really strong because it's just bass player, guitar, us, keyboards. It satisfies me in that way. It's a real distilled, version of what we do, so I'm into it.
There's a lot of times we wish we could collaborate more often. I mean, we're going on 10 hours probably here today, but it still, feels fresh and we're still knocking it out because it's exciting and it's great to be able to collaborate like that with like-minded individuals, and good friends.
To be able to share the stage or share ideas or share music with somebody like these guys is a real honor, and it's something I'm not going to soon forget.
Man, I want to say this is amazing. We had a great meal before or after. I don't know if this is before or after, but I'm just being surrounded by great people and good, positive environment, and it's just been a treat to me and enjoying this hammock right now.